The Last Supper. In a secluded upper room in Jerusalem, Jesus sits at a long wooden table with his 12 disciples. The room is bathed in the warm, flickering orange light of oil lamps. Bread and a chalice of wine sit at the center. The atmosphere is intimate but heavy with the weight of Jesus' words as he reveals that one among them will betray him. The agony in the garden. The moon cast long shadows over the Garden of Gethsemane as Jesus knelt, his heart heavy with sorrow. While his disciples succumbed to sleep, he prayed with an intensity that brought forth drops of blood, knowing the bitter cup that awaited him. The betrayal. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by the flicker of torches and the glint of Roman armor. Judas Iscariot, one of his own, approached with a deceitful kiss, a prearranged signal that betrayed the Son of Man into the hands of his captors. Scene 4. Before the Sanhedrin. Bound and brought before Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin. Jesus stood accused. False witnesses rose against him, but his silence was his most powerful defense, even as the council condemned him for blasphemy. Scene 5. The judgment of Pilate. At dawn, Jesus was brought before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate, finding no fault in him, offered to release a prisoner according to custom. But the priests swayed the crowd, who roared, "Crucify him! Give us Barabbas!" Pilate, wishing to appease the multitude, symbolically washed his hands, declaring himself innocent of Jesus' blood. Scene 6. The scourging and mockery. Then came the scourging, a brutal punishment that tore at his flesh. The soldiers, reveling in their cruelty, fashioned a crown of thorns and pressed it onto his head, dressing him in a purple robe and mocking him as King of the Jews. Scene 7. The way of the cross. A heavy wooden crossbeam was laid upon his lacerated shoulders. He began the agonizing journey through the crowded streets of Jerusalem. A man named Simon of Cyrene, and compelled him to carry the cross the rest of the way to the hill of Golgotha. Scene 9. The arrival at Golgotha. Finally, they reached Golgotha, the place of the skull, a desolate hill outside the city walls. Here, against a brooding sky, the crosses stood ready. Scene 10. The crucifixion. With brutal efficiency, they nailed him to the cross, raising it between two common criminals. He hung there, enduring unimaginable pain, as the crowd watched, some mocking, some weeping. Scene 11. The death of Jesus. As darkness fell at midday, Jesus cried out, "It is finished," and breathed his last. The earth trembled, and the veil of the temple was torn in two. Scene 12. The deposition. Later, as evening approached, Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of the council, bravely asked Pilate for Jesus' body. With tender care, they took his body down from the cross, preparing him for burial. Scene 13. The entombment. And so, his body was reverently laid in a new tomb, carved out of rock in a nearby garden, wrapped in linen with spices. Scene 14. The sealed tomb. A large stone was rolled across the entrance of the tomb, and a Roman guard was stationed to ensure no one disturbed the resting place of the crucified man. Scene 15. The resurrection and the empty tomb. But on the third day, the earth shook, and an angel of the Lord descended, rolling back the stone. The guards, terrified, fell like dead men. The tomb was empty. "He is not here, he has risen," as he said. Scene 16. The appearance. He appeared to his disciples, speaking words of peace and commissioning them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel." Scene 17. The ascension. And then after 40 days, he led them out to Bethany. As they watched, he was lifted up, and a cloud received him out of their sight, ascending into heaven to sit at the right hand of God.